mean, we all know the stages of feminism. I mean, I always get them confused, to be honest. The first wave is, feminism 101, I suppose. Like, let me vote.
Yeah.
Stage 2 is like, maybe I don't want to do all this housework. Betty
Stage
Friedan.
2 is Betty Friedan, and I'm really tapping into my inner bimbo. I didn't sleep well last night. Gloria Steinem.
Gloria Steinem. Gloria, the girls are with Bernie Steinem. The girls are with Bernie because the boys are with Bernie Steinem.
Right. Yes.
Remember that? Doesn't that feel like a million years ago?
Yeah. She also called him an honorary woman and stumped for him before when he was running for Congress, which is kind of
Women
cool.
Be confused.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And then third stage is I don't have to be like a man. I don't have to literally put pants on and be aggressive and power stance at the table to be able to have the things and rights and opportunities that men have.
Well, third stage apparently was credited to Rebecca Walker, who responded to Thomas's appointment to the Supreme Court with an article in Ms. Magazine called Becoming the Third Wave. So I write this as a plea to all women, especially women of my generation. Let Thomas's confirmation serve to remind you, as it did me, that the fight is far from over. Let this dismissal of a woman's experience move you to anger. Turn that outrage into political power. Do not vote for them unless they work for us. Do not have sex with them. Do not break bread with them. Do not nurture them if they don't prioritize our freedom, control our bodies and our lives. I am not a post-feminism feminist. I am third wave.
So what is this, like a Lysistrata feminism where you just deny men sex and affection?
Sounds not so fun. You can't break bread with them. Yeah, and then it's apparently like associated also with Riot Girl.
Isn't that like the band?
It's a genre.
Oh, sorry.
It's a punk subculture.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's music. It's a music thing.
It's music, yeah. It's not a band, but yeah.
Excuse me.
No, it's okay. It's like saying grunge. Isn't that a band? Grunge, yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay. So to me, like that description and that kind of weird place that we've left off suggests to me that there is a room for a fourth wave feminism.
Yeah, let's coin it now.
We haven't had another wave. We've just had all of these weird movements that have not, I think, had the space to accommodate a full breadth of what we want to be and where we want to be. Me Too. Feminism isn't just about sexual assault, obviously.
Right.
Feminism isn't just about Roe v. Wade. Feminism isn't just about Hillary Clinton attaining the highest job in the land. But it doesn't feel like there is a comprehensive conversation about feminism, perhaps because even that feels overly, that's a weird thing to say, reductive.
Yeah.
In today's world, women are too niche.
Right.
The idea of feminism itself isn't sufficiently intersectional. It's not,
I've definitely become less, then there's the question of, are you a feminist? Do you want to keep labeling yourself a feminist? Is that a smart thing to do? I mean, all these things depend on what your role is. I mean, we're getting into, so many different topics because we're women and being fluid and lunar. But, the question, I guess it's like, do we reclaim feminism? I often identify as a feminist because for me, it was so important to just kind of I'll identify as a Jew, although those things are different because I don't think I choose to be Jewish. But there's a political value in it, I think, to say as a feminist, I support Bernie Sanders, not Hillary Clinton. As a feminist, feminism is caring about the minimum wage, which Hillary Clinton obviously didn't. All those things were kind of brought into sharp relief during the 2016 primary. And I think that was kind of a line in the sand for two different types of feminisms. One, the feminism, again, concerned with personal journey and biography of an incredibly powerful person. And then one that actually cared about women who weren't just Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think it's useful to point out. I mean, I remember getting emails from people during the 2016 primary being thank you so much, Katie. I'm a dad and I'm so excited that my daughters get to listen to you and get to see that you can be a feminist and support Bernie Sanders. So on a similar note, with being a Jew, it's I don't think you should have to be a Jew to have an opinion on Israel-Palestine, but it's certainly useful to push back on the idea that all Jews support AIPAC or, all Jews support Israel's government. So there's that.
Yeah. I mean, so I do want to bring this. I mean, this dovetails nicely to this Bimbos of TikTok article again.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Because, the article, the author writes that the Bimbo talk came about at a time when the girl boss had more or less faded as a trendy cultural type. Amid the resurgence of leftist politics and the disillusionment with capitalism among millennials and Gen Z, the framing of careerism and individualism as feminists rings hollow. The girl boss model was critiqued for its lack of inclusivity, blah, blah, blah. And so, no more Instagrams at rising and grinding. No more the wing. No more straining to be smarter than the boys. Bimboism offers an opposing and to some refreshing premise. Value me, look at me, not because I'm smart and diligent, but for the fact that I am not. It's anti-capitalist, even anti-work. In one video, another Bimbo talk comedian, Bridie Barbina, dances behind text that reads, "Rule of thumb, all relationships should be 50-50. He works for his money, I spend it." You read that part?
Yeah.
There's something compelling about the idea that women shouldn't have to prove their economic worth or intelligence as a way of arguing their self-worth and independence. In its most interesting form, Bimboism makes a connection between the ideas of pleasure, sexual pleasure, pleasure with clothes, pleasure in simply existing as a woman in the world with a body on display, and political gains that would make it more possible, like universal health care, student loan debt cancellation, and abortion rights. And absent someone coming up with a better fourth wave, I gotta say,
God. Are we declaring Bimbo Takia as fourth wave? Bimbo talk.
Fourth wave feminism is Bimbo talk.
You should have Jill Filipovic on. I actually thought her article made some good points. Her Substack.
Okay, let's talk about that real quick if we have time. So people don't know, Jill Filipovic is someone, a journalist, a writer,
Hillary person, yeah.
Only person I would say confidently describe her as liberal, and I don't mean that as pejorative. No. It's just descriptive.
Yeah. We're not saying shit lib. She's just a liberal. Yeah,
she's a liberal. I would say that she's one of the. I disagree with her all the time and so much.
Yeah,
but I think she's one of the better faith liberals.
She's very smart.
She's smart. I cannot stress enough how frustrated she has made me and how much we have fought on the internet.
Yeah.
I also think that she is very sincere. And I was on a panel with her at some point over a year ago, and I found her to be, I appreciated her willingness to come to the table. That's what I'll say. I want to give her some points for that. So what, you thought she made some good points here. How's that?
Well, she talks about how these things this isn't anti-capitalist. I mean, you're still depending on men it's still about, like, we still live, well, she doesn't say this, but I'll say that we still live in the capitalist world system. So it's not disruptive to capitalism to be financially dependent on men. In fact, that's just old school capitalism. I mean, that's just old school. And sure, there are feminists especially Black radical feminists who pointed out that, it's kind of a privilege to be able to say, I don't want to stay at home, because there's some women who would love to stay at home.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to not have to work, right?
Yeah.
There's some people who would love to not have to work. So, but I still think that this is not that disruptive. But it's also hard for me to take it seriously because it's so kitsch. I think it's so tongue in cheek. But I don't really think that it's a rejection of capitalism. It's just a kind of old school throwback with like a twist. And I get it can be kind of subversive to be like, I don't have to play this game of being, but again, I think it's all a choice. It's whatever you want to do. That's kind of the point.
Conservatives often fear monger and do this hand wringing about how, well, if we have a UBI, if there's universal housing, no one will work and all the boys will sit around on their video games and we won't have a productive society and there'll be no innovation and no Elon Musk rockets to the moon or what have you. So you got to keep people literally hungry to have progress. And, there are different ways that I argue about that in public and mixed political spaces. But sometimes privately in my head, I think, yes, some portion of the population is going to lie about, and it's going to be like the Eloy and the Time Machine. Like these, and there's going to be these industrious people underground who pop up occasionally. I mean, I don't think the Eloy should be eaten.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? Like these industrious people who are kind of like making the things go. But there's going to be some portion of the population that's sitting around like living like life on a cloud.
Right.
And not really contributing to much and living a kind of hedonistic simple life. And that these women of bimbo TikTok are they're like the Eloy of TikTok. They're not self-sufficient. They are relying on this other infrastructure going on underground, whether it's the men that they're getting money from or the OnlyFans or whatever it is, however they're sustaining their lifestyles. But there's something, I am not as resistant to the idea as the, pro-capitalist conservative gang of the world, that industry isn't a value in and of itself. And that while in the void that is created by a lack of want, there might be some good things that come out of it, as well as some bad things. There's going to be sloth, but there's also going to be creativity and other kinds of innovation.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with you on that front. Definitely.
And there's something, I don't know, like these people aren't advocating explicitly for something like that, but it's close enough that it makes me feel like the vocal resistance of the idea that like working is a default good in this puritanical society that we live in feels subversive to me, and something like I want to encourage, even if it's, so silly. It is so silly.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the idea that there's a lot of unpaid labor. I mean, I like the idea of the man staying home and the woman going out to work, all that stuff. I think there should be room for all those things.
Do you like that idea?
Yeah, don't you?
Yeah, sure. If that's how it's got to be.
I don't want to clean or cook.
I don't want to clean or cook or work.
Yeah, but I'm better at working, I think, than cleaning and cooking. Right.
I'm sorry, I'm not selling this very well. This is going to be the segment.
Is this paywalled or public?
This one's paywall. That's why I'm being a little
I feel a lot more comfortable. Yeah, you see, it all goes back to the Marxian analysis of pay.
We gotta 100%.
Yeah.
We gotta watch one bimbo video live before we go.
Yeah, sure.
Who is a bimbo? What is a bimbo? These are multiple questions that I have been getting from millennials. Who is the Gen Z bimbo? A bimbo isn't dumb. I mean, she kind of is, but she isn't that dumb. She's actually a radical leftist who's pro-sex work, pro-Black Lives Matter, pro-LGBTQ, pro-choice, and will always be there for her girls, gays, and theys. If you're homophobic, I'll castrate you. Listen, this is an inclusive organization. There's bimbos, thembos, himbos. I don't do this for the misogynistic male gaze. I do it for my gays. And damn, my tits look good. It's about emotional intelligence at the end of the day. And remember, we always step on Trump supporters. Hey, is that a Trump supporter? Ew!
First of all, the way she calls out millennials as the old people who don't get it. Like, okay.
Yeah. That is kind of funny.
So, Katie, yay or nay, what's your final verdict on the bimbo feminism? The bimboification of feminism.
I'm not convinced it's that big of a thing, but I like it. I think there's room, and again, it's a comedic thing. I kind of like it. I think it's fun.
Is regular feminism dead? Do you agree with the people who think that the Amber Heard verdict and the Me Too and all of that stuff is the death knell of it all?
I mean, maybe of a certain kind of feminism, but I think that feminism is whatever we make it, Brie. It's up to us. We should have a gavel. Well, feminism, dead or alive.
Oh, I do. I have one.
Oh, great. There you go. I feel so unprepared. I didn't know we were going to judge. I thought we were just talking about this Dave Weigel story, but now we're actually like determining the life or death of feminism.
Well, I don't know 100% where my gavel is. I'm still working out this new apartment.
Oh, okay.
I definitely have one. No, like it's obviously tongue in cheek, but I do. Yeah. I don't know. I do think that part of the issue is that there's nothing to fill the void. And I've been thinking about this in other contexts that have jumped the shark, some of this wokeness talk and all of this other stuff, is that part of why we're playing defense all the time and losing is because we don't have an offensive story.
And we don't have,
a story that's on the offense.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I can't make my phone stop making noises.
Because you're a bimbo. You don't know how to do it.
And It always seemed to me that Me Too was flawed in this obvious way, that it was too reductive. Saying that we live in a world where women are often not believed and therefore we should have like a rebuttable presumption of belief, right, or that we should be inclined to keep our minds open and challenge our own presumptions about why we don't believe women is one thing. Saying believe all women, and also right, the Black version of it, trust Black women, trust Black people, right, you know, all of that is quite obviously superficially overly reductive, and conservatives picked up on that immediately and said, well, there's due process concerns here, which are not wrong. Right?
Yeah.
But in that moment, the left or anybody else who observed this and critiqued this could have said, well, here's what we should do in the alternative. And they didn't, because it felt as though it was too harmful to a useful movement to be critiquing it from the left at that time.
Yeah.
There wasn't really any space to say, oh, I think these are overreaches, until we started getting into the world where Aziz Ansari's quote unquote Me Too was supposed to be something we're all mad at and was painted as equivalent to
Harvey
the Weinsteins of the world.
Yeah. As Roxane Gay pointed out.
What did Roxane Gay say about it?
She was like, we need to have a discourse that allows us to have like distance between, I think she tweeted this out, like between Aziz Ansari and Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing.
And similarly, this Weigel thing, I was like very much, you know, team Weigel. But then reading some of the background about Felicia Sanmez, it does make me curious about whether or not the defense of Weigel, which I think is there. I'm sorry?
I'm Sanmez curious. I guess I am bi. Or just Sanmez curious, yeah.
It makes me wonder whether there is a bigger story here about the way things are handled at the Post that is not right, even if Sanmez being a bad avatar for feminism,
right,
you know,
she is a really bad avatar for feminism, let's be honest. Really bad.
Yeah, and it makes me, you know, in a world where I have to choose, which is not the world we live in, but between like the bimbo TikTok woman.
Oh, you're creating a world where false choice. Okay, this is what feminism needs: would you rather Felicia Sanmez or bimbo TikTok?
Right, and I think we should ask ourselves, like, why is it so appealing? Why is like the Red Scare archetype so appealing that, you know, those characters from White Lotus were based on them, and they were smart young women who read lots of books by the pool, but were also super hot and woke. Yeah. And like, why is that combination of like, you know, owned sexuality, kind of very straightforward femme presentation, and also a certain level of guile appealing to so many people? And why does it make that podcast so appealing to so many people?
You mean anti-woke? You said woke.
Well, the women on the show were kind of woke.
Oh, I didn't watch the show.
The White Lotus girls were pretty woke.
It. Okay. But that makes them very different.
Well, what does that even mean anymore? It means so many different things to different people.
Right.
But they were like politically conscious and pro BLM kind of vibes.
Yeah.
But not corny and libby about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I watch that show? We can do another.
I think so.
Thing. Okay.
I mean, what do you think? What do you think the answer to that is?
To would you rather?
Appeal.
Oh, it's irreverent. It's fun. There's like, you know, you get to feel like you don't have to fit into a certain box. It's nice to, you know, you don't have to be a scold.
Yeah. I think there's a growing acknowledgement that the box of having to be not feminine is a box just like the box of having to be feminine. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, that's
the box
true.
Of not having to, you know, of having to pretend like I don't like astrology and girly clothes is as confining as the box of having to right. If you don't like those things, pretend to like those things and fem up.
Yeah. Fem up, yeah.
All right. Well,
it's all about choice. We're pro-choice here. We'll have to have another episode where we really carve out fourth wave.
Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. Just a reminder that this is a podcast. You can catch an extra premium episode every Monday for $5 a month at patreon.com/badfaithpodcast. That's patreon.com/badfaithpodcast for $5 a month, an extra episode every week. Additionally, please do consider liking this video, subscribing to this channel. It helps us out. It helps independent media beat the algorithm. We appreciate you. And as always, keep the faith.